Welcome back to MomCom. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Shannon. And it's not you, it's motherhood.
Today's episode is one that honestly felt less like an interview and more like a deep exhale with someone who truly gets it.
We're joined by the incredible Susanna Peace Lovell, author, advocate, podcast host, founder of We Are Brave Together, and most importantly, a mom who has walked through the beautiful and sometimes chaotic reality of raising a neurodivergent child.
In this conversation, we talk about the isolation that so many moms feel when motherhood doesn't look the way they expected. We talk about sensory struggles, anxiety, burnout, resilience, and the emotional labor that comes with trying to help your child thrive while also trying to hold yourself together.
But more than anything, this episode is about connection. It's about those moments where another mom looks at you and says, I understand. And suddenly you don't feel so alone anymore.
Suddenly Brave Together is a collection of letters written from moms who have been through it, to moms who are just entering what could be hard seasons. And honestly, by the end of this episode, we both said every mother should leave the hospital with this book.
So whether you're in the thick of motherhood, navigating diagnoses, struggling with anxiety, or simply carrying the invisible weight that so many moms carry every day, this conversation is for you.
And if you're listening while hiding in your car with a Diet Coke trying to regulate yourself before pickup, just know we see you.
We really do. Let's get into it.
So we are so happy that we have connected and that we are here, and we are so excited to kind of learn more about your journey and your background and kind of what has gotten you to where we are now with this exciting new book.
Yeah, I will just start off by saying that, I am a mom. Okay, let's start off there. But hello, MomCom. Am one of you all. I, have always wanted to be a mother. Growing up, I grew up in a very big family, and I had different career aspirations throughout my childhood, middle school, high school, college. I'm like, maybe I'll be a pediatrician. Maybe I'll be this. Maybe I'll do that. But I always knew for sure that I wanted to be a mother, and I wanted tons of kids, and I just wanted a happy, chaotic household, kind of like the one that I grew up in. And then I had my daughter, Arizona. That's her name. And she was born in 2006. And the minute that she was born, she just commanded a lot of attention. And I was a first-time mother, but I had been around kiddos my entire life. Like I'm one of 5 siblings. I'm number 2. So my youngest sibling is 13 years younger than me. And I just was like little mommy. Like I just, was always with some of my younger siblings helping all the time. That's what we did in big households. You just take care of each other. You figure it out. And so I was like, gosh, it seems really challenging. Obviously, I'd never given birth before. So I'm like, there are so many things happening to our bodies as women, as mothers going through pregnancy, the hormonal shifts alone, the physical shifts. But I just found it really, really difficult and challenging. And turns out Arizona was really, really, colicky and fussy and just irritable and just always crying, morning, noon, and night. And I just couldn't find ways to soothe her. But I just thought, okay, well, maybe it's just the first 3 months of her life. She's colicky, all of these things. Turns out she had really crazy, severe food allergies. And so it took a while to figure out, how to manage and even diagnose like all of the different allergies, like with, blood tests and prick tests. And, in the meantime, going to like the gastro doctor, because she's so fussy, and going to the skin doctor because she's now covered head to toe in eczema. And anywho, all of that to say, after 3 months, it wasn't dissipating. She was fussier and fussier. And I was like, okay, something is going on here. So that was sort of my first foray into a different kind of motherhood than what I had envisioned for myself. Fast forward, my daughter, Arizona, is now 19 years old.
Oh.
She is a little love bug. She's going to prom next weekend. And she is graduating from high school. And she is off to a phenomenal program at UCLA in the fall for neurodivergent students. It's a dream come true. I will tell you, my life today with Arizona is not at all what I thought it would be when she was younger. And, after the allergies, there were other diagnoses that came along with that. At the age of 2.5, she was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Age 5, ADHD, and then sort of throughout, there was always a diagnosis of anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder. And for those of us who understand and know anyone who's on the spectrum, ADD, ADHD, anxiety, they're always usually the fun little side dishes to, autism. And so I am a single mother. Arizona's father and I divorced when she was about 7 or 8, separated, divorced, whatever. It took some time. And Arizona lives with me full time. She has a wonderful relationship with her father. He's a great friend to me. And so her in a different way than, again, but it's me and her. And it's not me and the 4 kids that I wanted or the 5 kids that I wanted, but it is me and Arizona. And it's perfect and it's messy and it's, it is chaotic. I got the chaotic household, especially this morning. She wanted to one of the cats. Mommy, if you're going to record a podcast, can you bring the cat over to me over here? We have a little guest house in the back so she can have her, loud music and regulate while we record peacefully here. So because of her, I started advocating so much for myself and then started helping other families navigate the system, resources, support, but also really just the emotional component. And so when I was separating from her father, I was like, okay, I gotta make some money. And coaching came so natural to me. So I got, certified as a professional life coach. Certainly I've taken a million classes on, behavior training. Arizona is a client of the Westside Regional Center here in Southern California. I feel like I have a PhD on potty training. I took potty training classes because that was something that was really, really hard for her to her body brain connection was that was challenging. So that was a whole seasons, plural. And so I started, advocating for other disability families, and my business has grown by referral, and I do one-to-one coaching, but I do a lot of, one-to-many sort of connection circles, support groups, workshops. I work with corporations to help with, autism awareness or neurodiversity awareness or mental health aware, whatever can be supportive. But mostly I love telling my story in any capacity that I can. When Arizona was diagnosed with all of these different things, like you mentioned earlier, Nicole, it's like this isolating feeling of just being so alone and who are my people? I can't find my people. I can't even leave the house, because there were just so many safety things with Arizona wanting to run away. And she was a very active child that just took off. And then all the food allergies were very prohibitive in terms of me with the world. So here. Yeah.
I'm so curious because I too have been there, and both of my kids have been diagnosed with sensory processing disorder, which is a lot like autism, extreme anxiety, auditory processing, dyslexia, ARFID. And every time I got an answer as to why I felt like this cannot be real life. How is this normal? Because everyone made me feel like this is just the way kids are, Nicole. They cry all the time. This is what life is like. And I thought, no, my mom gut was like, there is something way more to this. And everyone made me feel crazy. And there was really no support. There still really isn't support. I have a great husband, but he is really into working and focusing on what he needs to do. And I'm the one that's left to focus on the children and getting them to all the different therapies and, how do we pay for the therapies, right? Because for my kids, they weren't diagnosed with autism. And so there was no financial support at all. I had to pay for everything out of pocket. And that is really stressful because we're not made of money and we're just trying to, provide the best for our children. And at the same time, you're just going through the day to day. Like my son would hide in the car in the back of my trunk where I could not find him in one of the cars because he didn't want to go to school or whatever it is. He would run away he almost got hit by a car running away because he didn't want to go in the school. And this has been going on for years and it's just now gotten better. But as you know, when you're in the thick of it, how did you handle that with your daughter? Like it's a really hard, like we just survived, but it's really hard.
Yes, Nicole. And I think, so we start there. It's really hard. It's really, really, really hard. And so I feel like I had to learn because same thing, like people would look at me. There were a lot of judgy looks, shaming by other moms, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to manage your child, figure out your child. Like, what is your child doing? It's your fault,
Mm-hmm.
I felt that a lot. And it's a horrible, yucky feeling because you just feel like you're so out of control. And you're like, I'm sitting here, I'm doing my best. I'm like hanging on by a thread. But I think what helped me the most, and by the way, how did I do it? I don't know. I'm still, every day, I'm like, I'm just going to choose to do my best. But what I start off with every single morning, and then I have to remind myself this multiple times a day, is to have so much compassion for myself. Okay. And to be like, Susanna, it is so understandable. It is so very understandable that you are so tired and exhausted and overwhelmed and worried and scared, about what this day may bring. And, you're going to be okay. Your kids are going to be okay. Your family, everything is going to be okay. But just please, what do you need today, Susanna? Like, what is there something that you can take off your plate? Is there a little snippet of joy that you can find? Maybe you get that Diet Coke at lunch because that's my little treat. I love it.
Me too.
That I love a Diet Coke through the McDonald's drive-thru. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to pour my...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But
yes, it's the best.
It's the best.
But Susanna, I think what you just said, giving yourself permission, starting your day that way, that's such a beautiful and helpful reminder because it's funny. I'll talk to my mom about our childhood. I'm like, how did you do it? Because she was a single mom with 3 kids. And she goes, I don't know. I was just in survival mode. And I think so many of us are just in survival mode. When Nicole and I are talking, I'm like, I don't know. We're just this, that, the other. And I think that reminder of have compassion for yourself, give yourself permission to feel all the feelings you just described. That's really important. And I think it's really easy for us as moms to forget to do that sometimes because we're always giving, and we're carrying the emotional labor of the whole entire house and friends, all the things. So what a beautiful reminder to start the day, reminding yourself of those things and giving yourself that compassion. Thank you. That's really powerful stuff.
Yeah. No, you're welcome. I mean, it's because I was like, I can either show up in this lifetime, as I want to show up as Susanna Peace Lovell, or I'm going to just be someone's caregiver and all of the other hats that we wear, which by the way, there are so many responsibilities that we have. And I also want to access my own joy, my own joy.
Yes.
Right. So it's possible. I didn't think it would be possible when I was in the throes of it, but I'm, almost 20 years in at this point. So I'm still standing.
Yeah. You give us hope. You give us hope because that's what we need because we don't know. We did an episode with a therapist that specializes in ADHD in children
I thought of
and for her to enlighten me that I am trying to raise my children as they're adults when they're not adults. And I'm so scared that I am not going to prepare them for the world to go be successful and thrive and have, I want them to have the joy and happiness that I've been looking for my whole life. And I want it to be easier for them, So
I know. Well, I think that that is at the core for every mother's quest. I mean, I feel like we all want our children to be, confident and solid and stable and at peace and quote, quote, successful in whatever way we find that measurement to be. But sorry, this is another cat, Luna, who just took her booty in the screen. Excuse me.
She wants her moment. I get it.
I mean, not a cat in the world, these cats. No, I mean, but yeah, I know. It's, and yours are younger, right? So it's just, there are so many different seasons. And then you think you have things figured out, and then
it changes. Yes.
wait,
Every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just in and you never know what the next season is going to hold. And I try to have so much hope and positivity. And then something hits me in the face and I'm like, oh my God, more, more of this.
So let me ask you both a question. So when you have these feelings, because all kinds of feelings come up, big feelings, worry, anxiety, stress, all of the things, how do you find ways to release those, during the days or in the moment, maybe not right in the moment of crisis, right? But in the moments where it's just overly hard, is there like a go-to that you both are in practice of in terms of just that release?
That's a good question, Shannon.
It's a great question. And so mine is possibly unique. So it's not in the moment, right? In the moment, unfortunately, I am still figuring out how to regulate my 41-year-old emotions. And I tend to go from 0 to 60 very quickly sometimes. And then I have to sort of, I'm trying to teach my kids not to do that, but I'm also human. And when things all just feel like it's about to erupt, sometimes I do. But I have absolutely found that for me, when I just need a minute, which as moms, it's very hard sometimes to get a minute. I like to dive into sort of home DIY projects, whether I get 10 minutes to do that, or I can actually have a Sunday where my husband's playing soccer in the backyard with the kids and I can do a project. It is healthy for me. It's therapeutic for me. I like the instant gratification of seeing that something my hands did went from looking like this to now like this. So it's very much become, and I feel like we're at a place with my older kids where they kind of understand that too. And they can see how, okay, mommy's sort of creating right now. So again, that doesn't help me in the like exact moment of take a breath, count to 10, those things I'm still trying to figure out. But for my mental health, my projects have really become as I said, very therapeutic for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, what is mine? I've kind of let it go. There were times where working out is very important to me, but I haven't been able to get the times down. I have to go work out at 4 a.m. so that it doesn't take up my entire day because I only have 6 hours to get all my work done in quiet without the children home. And I'm struggling with that, but I'm a happier person when I work out every single day. But I also need my sleep. So lately I choose to sleep till 5:30 in the morning, which sounds crazy, instead of working out and going to the beach. That's why we moved here. I wanted to be close to the water. The water makes me very happy. And then, of course, my son hates going to the beach. He doesn't like the sand. To get my kids to go to the beach, Quinn's easier. She likes the beach and the sand castles and such, but I'm like, come on, guys. And so I'll just go by myself, because it's hard, but I don't think it'll always be that way. I really try to tell myself it's not going to always be this way. And I think really Shannon is my person. Like when things are hard, I can go to her. And for the first time in my life, I have someone who doesn't judge me. She is the first person who understands me, whatever crazy thing that comes out of my mouth, because I say the craziest things. And she knows exactly what I'm saying. And she doesn't judge me, you know? And then daily, though, I will get a Diet Coke because that's my favorite thing in the world.
Oh, we must. Yes, we must.
So tell us more about this new book coming out. And I do believe every mom in the hospital should get this book before they go home.
Yes, yes.
I really do.
So just a second ago, the cat Luna just jumped off the table and then my desk, sorry, and then all my books went flying. But yeah, no, first of all, I'm so happy that you both have each other because that is also cathartic when you have a girlfriend who gets you, okay?
Yes.
Girlfriend who gets you, you can just send a text with all the expletives that you want or whatever crazy thought and then just be like, just delete this later, whatever. It's so supportive and amazing. And I have been able to build that for myself too. But back to this book, which is, I feel so proud of it. It's called Suddenly Brave Together, and it's my second published work. But this one, I'm a contributing author, and it's an anthology of letters written to caregiving moms at a defining moment in their lives. And so all of the authors who are in the 30 chapter, there are 30 different authors in this book, each one with a different letter, different chapter, all have kids that are at least 18 or over. So age 18 or over. So they are letters written to that mom who has just received a diagnosis for their child or is just understanding that there's something different or unique about their child, even if there isn't an official diagnosis. So it's sort of that letter like, okay, here's what I want you to know. Like, here's what I know now. Doing this for however many, one of the authors has a son who's like 38, right? So from the ages of 18 to about 40, you're hearing from the mothers who have been on this journey with their child or children with unique needs. And it is, I mean, we just, it's available now. It launched on May 1st. And we had our official book launch party over the weekend, which was really nice. The authors are all over the place in terms of geographically, but we had the little launch party in Los Angeles. And I want to say about 12 of the authors were there and some flew in. It was really nice to meet everybody in person. And then we all shared like a snippet and quote from our particular, letters. And it was just so nice. I mean, I've been reading through these letters too, and everything is still so helpful for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we ever figure it out, you guys. Sorry. I even see, my own mother. I'm so blessed to have my parents still with us on this earth, right? My dad's 81, my mother is 76, and they're so sweet. They've been married forever, 5 kids, 12 grandkids. And I still see my mother's worry and concern about all of us. I mean, I'm 52 and she's concerned about me, yeah. And now she has all of these grandchildren to love on and also to worry about. Like, I just don't know if we ever, quote, quote, figure it out. But I do think that we continue to quest for that for ourselves. But I agree with you. I think that, this information, I wish I had something like this when I was in the throes of this deep, dark abyss of the unknowns. Nicole, my daughter, Arizona, was also initially first diagnosed with auditory processing disorder and sensory dysfunction, whatever it's called, right?
Yeah.
Being dysfunction and all of these things. I was like, but what does that mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We ultimately got the autism diagnosis, and I will tell you that was really, really supportive in terms of getting services and resources and support. So I feel your pain, but I can, I'll send you some resources that can assist you on your journey. I know you're in a different state.
Thank you.
We'll stay in touch because the thing is, we end up just having to be you have to stay crazy because because that's how we advocate for these kiddos. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like that doesn't mean we need to be rude and demean. It just means that we have to continue showing up.
Yeah.
And asking and just, I'm really so worried. Can someone please help me? That is sort of my approach to everything. And luckily it's worked, but it does require a different level of grit and determination and tenacity. And sometimes we don't have that extra oomph in our tank. So
yes,
yeah,
it is exhausting. And I think what I've come to realize is I've been worried my whole life because of my background and how I grew up, right? My mom is a drug addict and she still is. And my stepdad was the same. So when you live in that kind of environment as a child, all you do is worry about what's coming. And then you have these children and something's not right. And I just wanted to give them the best life, the life I never had. And it was met with so many stops. Like, I didn't have food growing up, so I can feed my children. How special is that, right? But then we're going to give them our food, and they're not going to eat food. And I'm going to have to take them to therapy for that. And I thought, what is this cruel joke? Like, what in the world? I mean, I just want to feed my kids. Like, why is it so hard? I just don't understand. And I think that after so many years of this, I've kind of just learned that you have to accept. We have to accept where we are, because when I fight it and when I want it to be something different than what it is when I have all this anxiety and angst and worry. But when we come to accept that we are going to be worried and that we care and that we want the best and kind of look at it from a different perspective, then I feel healthier than when I'm constantly fighting something.
Yes.
But I'm not saying you're going to always be in that mode. It's something you have to be really aware of, because it's easy to go into that mode of, this sucks. I don't like, why me? My life was already hard enough. Why me? Why did I get not one, but two kids that have so many things going on? Like, why? But there's a reason. And these little beings have been my healers, and they have taught me so much. And so I have to remind myself to look at it differently. Truly, I really do. But I'm still exhausted. And I still text Shannon all the time about how exhausted I am.
that is real.
Yeah.
That is real and true. Both are real and true. I would offer, because I have often asked myself the same question, and I get so annoyed. I'm a journal writer. I've been journaling since I was 13, and I have all my journals still. It's crazy.
Oh.
But I was just writing in my journal last night, actually. I'm like, gosh, I don't want to be this whiny, complaining, I know that I need to find things to be grateful for. And I'm so grateful for so many things. And it's a really hard right now with Arizona's senior year and so many things happening. It's a lot. There's so much extra stuff. Her anxiety is at a peak height. I've always been an anxious child my whole life, also my background and et cetera. But what I would offer though is that our circumstances, our situations, things that happen to us and with us are actually always for us. And so they are for our, like you mentioned, the healing, but like just if you can take it even to the next level, like our awakening to this life. Because I know for me that if I had a neurotypical child, I would have, marched into the line of all of the other sort of mommies here in Los Angeles of, okay, here are the private schools that we're going to, and then we got to do this, and then we got to do that. I mean, it's a culture here, and I'm sure it's culture everywhere, right? But there's this, there's a mommy culture where we're like, well, we should be doing it that way, and this is the way, that this is the cool way, whatever. And I would have been just like totally numb to this life. There's no question about it. For sure.
Yeah.
I would have been like, yeah, okay. And then she's going to go ahead and do this and get all these good grades and then go to Harvard, go to whatever it is, right? Whatever the markers are for like being a successful mother, because it's because of me that my child is now behaving and playing the piano, whatever. She doesn't behave well or play the piano. I'm just saying that's what I was having the vision for
Right.
before I became a mother. And I was, so I can't imagine being as awakened again to this life of possibility and opportunity, not just for my child, but for myself,
Yeah.
And by the way, you too have this platform, right? Of sharing the hard and the vulnerable and the ick and the good things and of all the fun things, but you are both just such open, beautiful human beings. Like,
Oh,
that's what we need. We need more of this, please.
yes.
So
Thank you.
sharing your story is helping so many people that you don't even know yet, right? So that keeps me going. And I would offer you to just continue telling your story and sharing. Arizona, by the way, was very, very, she had sensory issues and we're like a minute from the beach here. She was like, nope, sand, nope. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Created. Took her rain boots one day and she called them her sand boots. And then so she wore her rain boots in the sand and then that was okay. But that was just one tiny little step to now she can, at age 19, she can chill at the beach. You know what I'm saying? But it was,
Yeah.
I relate to you so much. I'm like, to make my life harder. Like, I want you to eat some beans and rice. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
Yes.
No thanks.
Yes. I am going to ask Griffin if he will wear rain boots to the beach.
It's
And
genius.
see.
It's genius.
Yes, it is.
She called them her sand boots.
So smart.
Or moon boots. Maybe she said moon. She said something like, I'm going to pretend I'm walking on the moon. Whatever. Put them on. You know,
Whatever it takes, right? Do it.
do it.
And there's just so much. And it's so beautiful. As you said, I think having these opportunity, in another world, we probably wouldn't have met you, Susanna. And it's so beautiful that because of our true lived experience and for all of these different things that brought the three of us to where we are, it is pretty amazing when you think about it that way. And you said, Susanna, that the stories are touching people that we probably don't even know yet. And I feel that about your book with Suddenly Brave Together, that there is solace in understanding that others have gone through challenging experiences as well and can come out still feeling positive and wouldn't change a thing. I think there should, and I think, Nicole was saying every mother should have access to this because it is so lonely when you're in those moments. My daughter also had severe food allergies, was colicky, was all of the things as a newborn. And everything you were saying at the start of this, Susanna, I felt because I'm like, what did I do wrong? Why is this not this easy experience that I just always thought as a kid? Because I also, as Susanna said, I'm going to have all the kids and do all the things. And it was very challenging. And you don't just get answers right away. And we have to be the ones that are advocating and helping, these little people. So I just think this book, it's just amazing how powerful storytelling can be. And I think that's ultimately what the three of us are trying to do, is share stories to make others feel less alone. And when Nicole first talked about MomCom and this idea, the idea of being vulnerable was hard to do. And I think the more we all push each other to share, hopefully we're helping other mothers and other people at least nod their head and go, okay, I'm going to get through today,
Yes. Yes.
So,
At this moment. Right.
Right. And because it can be hard to think so far ahead. So it's like it's day by day. It's those baby steps, right, Nicole, that we talk about.
One day at a time. I'm trying not to live too far in the future, because when I do that, I start treating my children as though they're adults when they are 9 and 11. And I feel like because I had to be such a grown up at such a young age, that's part of where that comes from. And Shannon and I talk all the time. Like, we were doing the laundry, we were making food, we were, at 9 years old, we were doing all these things. Why aren't my children doing these things? But every child has a different path in life. And I know that there is a big, beautiful plan for all of these children. And I think that when we stop and think about it that way, and we just trust in the process, then we can kind of let go a little bit, and kind of just, okay, well, that didn't work out. For example, I had my daughter finally diagnosed and with dyslexia and all the nonverbal learning disorders and auditory processing. And when I took that report to the school to see what help there was, they said, I'm sorry, her test scores are too good. We can't offer you any resources. And I was like, well, I'm going to be stopping all of my donations because I will be taking all of my money. I would support the school and be a sponsor and all these things. I'll be taking all that money and I'll be getting her a private, private this and private that. And I was just stunned that they said, I'm sorry, her scores are too good. We don't have help for you. And I know I'm not alone in that.
No, we're not.
That is crazy to me. So I could have went back and I could have hired an advocate, and I don't know how to push these things through school. I took that as a sign that I needed to go in a different direction. And I was fortunate to be able to do that. But some families cannot, and that's what bothers me. And that's what worries me about, not advocating. And when you do advocate, they tell you we can't help you.
Well, and Nicole, I think something that's so central to Susanna's message and through the book is the word brave, right? And I think everything you've just described absolutely takes bravery to be able to go, well, hold on. Like, that doesn't feel right to me and my mom gut. Like, I'm going to keep pushing and keep advocating. And I think, Susanna, again, that this notion of brave is so central to your book and everything that you share, really. And I just would love to understand a little bit more about, your thoughts around bravery and what does bravery mean on just a regular Tuesday? You know what I mean? It doesn't always, I don't think bravery has to be this huge thing. I think there's bravery every day in motherhood.
Yeah.
To hear, share a little bit more about this being brave.
Yeah. And I agree with you. It doesn't need to be this hugely heroic act, with all the pomp and circumstance. I think for me, bravery is still being here. I will tell you that I suffered really horrific postpartum anxiety and depression after Arizona was born. And, I still think I have sort of a twin tinge of that in my being, still. I operate from a place of heightened worry and anxiety and what's going to be next. And it's really hard for me to experience things that are unexpected and unplanned to this day. But I think bravery is, yes, just deciding to be here, deciding to show up, bravery is, I think it's blocking out all of the noise of everyone else around you, even a spouse, even your parents, even your siblings, telling you, the shoulds and the coulds and the how about if you do, what if you just, shut everything down and listen to your, like you mentioned, Shannon, that mommy gut, that mommy sort of instinctive knowing of like, what's good for me right now? What's good for me is good for my children. And sometimes, like, Arizona's home sick today. And my first thought was like, okay, now I don't have this day free while she's in school to get all my work done and to get uh, right outside this frame of this camera. I have like 5 piles of laundry that need to be folded and put away. Okay, they're just going to stay over there. But then I was like, but now I'm okay. So now I have this opportunity to do this day a little bit different. And bravery for me was not having a full freak out about her not going to school today, but more so like, okay, so then I'm going to have a chill day. I still get to talk to Shannon and Nicole, right? That is still possible for today. This has been so supportive for me. So bravery is just like being able to pivot, but it's also really just like being able to just recognize I need to just chill out and shut down for the day. I'm going to turn my phone off. Everyone can deal with whatever else they need. I'm just going to focus on me, Arizona. I'm going to make a yummy lunch. I'm going to get a Diet Coke today for sure. That for sure. That, like, I'm getting my car. That's the only thing I'm going to do in my car today for. Diet Coke in the fridge. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And in a pinch, I will get a nice, glass with some ice cubes and pour that Diet Coke and drink, and it's delicious. But I will treat myself to a drive-through. Arizona will be in the car with me. She can get some French fries. And yeah, just that was a very long-winded answer.
No, it was
just
beautiful.
Showing up for ourselves and blocking out the noise, I guess I would say.
I think that's beautiful. And the way you've just described that, Nicole, you are so brave. I have to just say that. Well, everything, blocking out the noise, I think you have really, you've shown how you have to do that, because if you listen to all the people, you've advocated for your kids in a way that I just think is so brave. And Susanna, you as well, learning more about your story. Moms are just so amazing. Moms are just such amazing people.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to see everyone's journey and sort of all the different things that we have to go through. But I go back to the point I was saying before, the more we share and the more we talk about it, the more seen it makes us all feel, right? I mean, I know my own mom with the journey that Nicole and I are on. She's like, just so proud of you girls. And she's like, she always says, I wish I had that when I was a new mom.
Yes.
And I think, Susanna, that's what your book is doing and your podcast and, everything that you're doing and making sure people have that support, your connection circles, your retreats, all of that. It's so helpful.
Yeah, I would love to learn more about the connection circle because I've thought about that here. One idea Shannon and I had was because Griffin wouldn't go into school, I said, Shannon, and there's so many moms that are outside the school crying because their kids are crying and they have to separate and it's so hard. I said, we should set up a hug table with like donuts and coffee outside the school. And when you're crying, and a Diet Coke station, I want to hug those moms and I want to tell them they're not alone. And it's really hard. And this sucks right now, but next year might be better. Tomorrow might be better, and give them that hope, because I would sit in my car crying. And so this connection circle, I could really use.
Well, I will tell you that there are, I offer in-person connection circles every other month in my backyard in Los Angeles, but I will tell you that there are connection circles all over the world. We just launched one in Sri Lanka. And there are a lot of virtual connection support circles too. So if you go on to wearebravetogether.org and go under resources, you'll see a link to support groups, and you can see all of the upcoming ones. There might be one in your area. I don't think we have one in South Carolina, but I don't know, because we keep growing and gossiping and
maybe
expanding. But
Maybe we need one.
Well, hello.
So
Hello, Nicole and Shannon.
yes.
We're doing this.
Yes.
Shannon furiously typing, but
So
no, I love it because because when you can you imagine? So I have these connection circles in my backyard every other month, because that's the weather that we have here in Los Angeles is just pretty glorious all the time. So, the moms, I have new moms that come all the time. I have like sort of my OG moms that always come, but anytime like new moms come, it's just, you can see them exhale, like falling into a chair, exhaling, the tears come inevitably. We all it's just a glorious way to connect again with moms and girlfriends, sisters. We all get it. And we all come from so many different walks of life, but we have this connector, which is, our stories and our experiences. And it's delicious. It really is. And I wish for every mother to be able to, we have moms who are caregivers to kiddos who have such extreme, medically fragile, like they cannot leave their homes.
Yeah.
And for them, like the podcast, even the ones that we're on, like MomCom, right? Because we share everything across our platforms. They have those to listen to. They have virtual connection circles if they can. We just want there to be something for everyone who is, in need and seeking support. So, yeah, it's yummy.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for hosting that in your backyard. And thank you for being there for all these moms that really need it. And it's making a huge impact on someone's life. And I always said to Shannon, if we can help just one mom not feel alone, that is what I want. That's all worth it for me.
You too have made me feel less alone today. So you're done. You've succeeded. Check. I mean, because this morning was hard for me.
Yes.
It was hard.
And Susanna, it would have been acceptable and okay for you to say, "Hey, Shannon and Nicole, I need to postpone this," and you didn't, because you were brave and you chose to say, "You know what? We're going to change course. This day doesn't look like I thought it was going to." And is it weird to say I'm so proud of you that you didn't say, "Let me put this thing for me aside. We're doing this." And I think we all are already like, I feel like a totally different person than I did an hour ago.
Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
That's why I'm wearing a tracksuit. And normally I was like, okay, let me go get a sweater. I was going to go put on a sweater, and I was going to go put on a pink sweater, you guys. And then we would have all been pretty in pink. I didn't have time because I had to cart, my kid and the other cat in the guest house in the back so they could be set up with the music and the cat was like, anyway, she was like stuck to because I need to get her nails trimmed and I don't know.
I'm playing this in my mind as you're saying it. And Shannon and I both know exactly what you're talking about. And with Griffin being sick and my in-laws are on their way right now from the airport, and my daughter, I let her stay home, and I'm trying to figure out frantically how to get this. I've used 3 computers. Why isn't it working? My husband brings me his computer. It keeps dinging his emails. I'm like, ah! And then my daughter is talking to Alexa. It sounds like Alexa's in my office. And I'm like, the dogs are barking. And I'm like, oh, what is happening? But now I feel so much lighter. And Shannon and I talk about what fills up your cup. Well, this connection fills up my cup. Being with other women who make you feel validated and seen and heard and not alone, that fills up my cup. That's what does it for me today. I will be in such a good mood today because of this conversation.
Well, let's check it later and see. Let's how's everybody doing?
I think that's a great idea.
I love it.
Well, I am going to get a Diet Coke, so I'm going to do that this afternoon.
Yep.
I think
Shannon, what are you going to do? Are you going to build something in the backyard or repaint your entire outside of your house, or what are you going to do today?
I'm going to get that Diet Coke as well, because I've since also been on this Diet Coke kick, which is bad because, I have my 2 coffees in the morning too. So I probably need to chill. But no, I am going to continue painting. I truly am.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Love.
And Shannon has a 2-year-old, and I'm always telling her that having a 2-year-old is a type of stressor of keeping this little person alive. It is so you turn your head for 1 minute and it's really stressful having a little kid, and she does it so well.
Oh, I don't know about so well, but thank you. But thankfully my 10-year-old is she tends to be helpful. But then the 8-year-old, it's just, we're all chaos. That's just the reality of life. It's just chaos.
Yeah.
But I am so, so grateful that we had this conversation as well. What a perfect way. I know, Susanna, it's earlier in the day for you. So when we do our check-in later, we'll see. Nicole and I don't have as many hours in the day left.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thank you so much for having me. We must stay connected.
Yes.
And yeah, we will continue to check in about our, continued synergy and energy and quest for mommies to find ways to thrive, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so grateful for this connection. I'm just super grateful. Thank you.
I am as well. And I think we are brave together.org. It's a good place, I think, for anyone who's listening to feverishly type the way that I was, even though I've been on the site. I'm like, because there's the support. It's massive. And thank you for doing what you do, Susanna. Thank you for making the time for us today. So many beautiful messages in just under an hour. So thank you very much. And we will absolutely be staying in each other's circles now.
I feel like this conversation was a reminder that motherhood was never meant to be done alone.
Yes. And I think what I'll take away most from today is the idea that bravery doesn't always look loud or heroic. Sometimes bravery is just getting up again tomorrow. It's advocating for your child when you're completely exhausted. It's asking for help. It's pivoting when life doesn't look the way you imagined.
And it's giving yourself compassion in the middle of all of it. Susanna reminded us that we can hold gratitude and exhaustion at the same time. We can love our children deeply and still admit this is really hard.
So if today's episode resonated with you, please send it to another mom who may need to hear that she's not alone. And definitely get a copy of the book, Suddenly Brave Together, and check out the work that Susanna's doing through We Are Brave Together.
And as always, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for trusting us with your stories and your motherhood journey.
And remember,
it's not you.
It's motherhood.